How to share in this?
Sir, at the bottom you can see a green symbol with an arrow, and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is you can click on that share screen,
Uh-huh. Okay.
and the first option will be share your entire screen. You can share that, and you can turn on your PPT on your screen.
Good morning, sir.
Mm.
Good morning. Yes, sir. We can see your screen now. You can open your PPT.
Yeah, just probably. Just 1 second.
Yeah, yeah. It's okay, sir. Any problem, Kuldeep ji?
No, no, no. Just actually, this system is little bit slow.
Okay, okay, okay.
Just
So,
it is done.
by the time you open your PPT, I'll let me introduce you to the participants. First of all, I welcome you all to this second day of our FDP. And today's first session will be handled by Dr. Kuldeep Singh. It is my pleasure to introduce Kuldeep Singh ji to you. Kuldeep Singh ji has completed his PhD from University of Delhi and National Physical Laboratory in 2011 under the supervision of Professor A.K. Bakshi, Department of Chemistry, University of Delhi. He did his postdoctoral research at Ulsan University, South Korea on graphene-based lithium-ion battery. He is currently working as a senior scientist in CSIR, Central Electrochemical Research Institute, also known as CSIR SICRI, and posted in Chennai. Previously, he was scientist at CSIR National Physical Laboratory, New Delhi. He has more than 12 years of research and development experience. His area of expertise include energy storage device, lithium ion battery, supercapacitors, and lead acid battery, conducting polymers, and EMI shielding. Dr. Singh has published more than 25 research articles having more than 2,300 citation with H index of 21, and Dr. Singh has one patent granted and three more patents on battery technology are under pipeline. Dr. Singh was awarded by BRICS Young Scientist Award in 2017, and he has delivered so many lectures in various institutions in various programs. So I present Dr. Kuldeep Singh to you all. Sir, we can see your PPT, sir.
Okay, fine. Yes.
You can make it full screen.
Yeah. So now it is fine.
You can make it full screen, sir. We can.
It is already full screen from my side. How to do it?
We can see your screen in half, sir. Actually, I'll check one second. Sir, you just maximize. You just
Okay.
click on that slide share button.
Okay. So slide share. Now it's okay.
No, sir. Still, it is showing half.
Okay, just 1 minute.
Sir, you just go to screen share and click on first option there. Yeah, now it is visible, sir.
Now visible fully, yeah?
Yes, fully. You can, yes, click on that slideshow.
Yeah. Now okay?
Yes, perfectly fine, sir.
Yeah. So good morning, all of you. Thank you for giving a opportunity to explain little bit about lithium-ion battery, what work we have done in couples of years. And thank you, PDA College, for giving this opportunity for presenting all my work, what we have done. Okay, so without further delay, just today I'm going to deliver my talk on selection and designing of smart materials uh, for lithium-ion battery, technological innovation and challenges for ESN and electrical vehicle. Okay, so my talk will cover more about what is the Indian status right now and battery demand in India. And Niti Aayog has proposed some phase manufacturing in coming years, and then giving some basic ideas like how India is taking electric vehicles further. Uh, I'm coming back to this topic of lithium-ion battery and will give a little bit insights of the lithium-ion cell, what are cathode, anode, electrolyte, and separators. And then some of the interesting results I will discuss, and then challenges in manufacturing and manufacturing in India I will cover, and will cover like what is the future outlook of our this EV segment in India. So with this, I just going to start my presentations. As you know, there is no uh, much introduction of these three gentlemen is needed. As you know, in 2019, these three gentlemen got award for discovery of lithium-ion battery. Professor Gordon, Professor Stanley, and Professor Yoshino. So these are the people who got Nobel Prize in 2000. And after once the announcement of Nobel Prize happened, lot of research fundings open for lithium ion battery in last 2 years. Okay, so the as yesterday in talks you may have seen the basics of lithium ion battery. So not going in much details, just I'm moving forward my talk in contents of Indian scenario. As we know that electric vehicles has made basically four major parts like battery, controller, charger, and electric motors. And all over the globe, the demand of EV is increasing, and this is because of environmental concerns. So there is a debate between like why we should opt electric vehicle over the existing IC engines based automobiles. So as you know, this automobiles industry, which is based on diesel and petrol, they emit lot of greenhouse gas emission. If you see in the curve, uh, all this you can see this gasoline release, gasoline based IC engine release nearly 300 gram CO2 per kilometer. But when you come to pure EV, this has nearly 100 gram CO2, which is based on the mining level, not on the road. So don't confuse that EVs are releasing CO2. So whatever the CO2, NOx, and all this pollution is happening at the mining level. So comparing that, so greenhouse, there is no greenhouse gas emission in on the road. So roads are clean, environment is very clean. So that was the major breakthrough in 2008 that when the Tesla proposed electric vehicle proposal to the US administration, and Obama uh, given his concern, and then onwards, like in Copenhagen's 2011 onwards, lot of research and policies has been formed to move for the green. So when you fill your tank with the diesel or petrol, you can go easily more than 300 miles. But here the current now the range is a major concern. So mostly in India, basically people are projecting 200 kilometers per single charge, but they used to claim more than 300, but actually it is coming 200 or 150 miles per charge. Okay. And second major concern is the charging time. Okay, so generally lithium ion based battery are taking 5 to 6 hours for charging, but when you have IC engine, within a few minutes you get your fuel tank full and you can start. But the major thing is the drivability, cost of driving. So generally electric vehicle cost you nearly 60 paisa per kilometer, taking current electric charges. Okay. And while this sorry, IC engine based is nearly 7 to 8 rupees per kilometer. So this is like you can see nearly uh, there is a huge difference in the prices. Okay. Of the driving. So there is a more concern that people are now shifting from IC engine based automobiles to EV. Okay. So now if we see in India, so mostly battery market is dominated by lead acid battery. Okay. So apart from this uh, UPS, telecom towers, and automobiles, we are using it lead acid battery as a SLI. So major market is dominated by in this segment of automobiles, inverter, e-rickshaw, telecom, UPS, and others have nearly 20%. So most of the lead acid battery in automobile is SLI, which cover nearly 44%. Okay. And now if you go to Delhi side, you will see lot of EV e-rickshaws which are running by lead acid battery, and there are a few two-wheelers are also there which are running on lead acid based batteries. And now people are shifting from lead acid battery to lithium ion battery. Okay. So in past couple of years, like 2018 onwards, every day or we are getting some news, some companies are coming, but actually these many companies are making big announcement, but on reality they all are under development. Okay. So now you can see like this Exicom, Acme, Delta Electronics, they are all are in packaging. They are bringing the cell from China or Japan or Korea and assembling the battery. Same other battery companies like Exide, Leclanche, they have announced some JV, which they are going to make their battery plant in Gujarat. Same Mahindra and LG are in discussion for collaboration, like Amar Raja Tirupati based company. They are also announced lithium ion battery. So, and in Gujarat, Suzuki and Denso Toshiba has made a JV, and they have started making their cell plant. Okay, right now they are making they are bringing the material from Japan, and now they are just fabricating the cells. Okay, apart from that, ISRO also has transferred the technology nearly 8 or 9 companies. Okay, and Rasi Solar Energy based company, uh, Bangalore based company also announced that they are setting up 1 gigawatt factory in Hosur with our collaboration with CSIR Sikri. Okay, so these are some announcements which happen in couple of years. And if you see here, in 2019 data which science minister announced in the parliament, that in 2019 India imported nearly 6,500 crore birth cell from China and other countries. So now keeping this in mind, government has come up with so many incentives, like very recently PLI, production linked incentive scheme, they have announced for producing lithium ion cells. Okay, so now the market of lithium ion battery is booming in India in couples of years. So keeping in that, Niti Aayog has proposed a phase manufacturing program where they are going to move forward in phase wise. So like if I will consider right now, so in you can see here China and India. So the supply chain or value chain, it is coming in phases. So in China, there is 100% value captured in raw materials, separator, cathode, electrolyte, anode, or packing, and all the things. But in India, right now, we are seeing only packing companies, which contribute less than 20% of the value chain. And it is projected that in 2023, we may capture nearly 60 to 80% of value chain, which include electrode material manufacturing, electrolyte manufacturing, and cell making and packing. And by 2025, it is projected that we will have 100% value chain. So this may be because of Corona. It may be delayed for 1 or 2 more years, but surely before 2030, we have full value chain of lithium ion battery manufacturing, or we are having full ecosystem. Right now, CSIR Sikri is working with so many companies and trying to set up a ecosystem for making uh, lithium ion production easy. So if we will see the demand which government has projected by 2030, like in two-wheeler, nearly 200 millions vehicle may be needed, and for four-wheeler, nearly 40 millions, and buses nearly 3 billion. This is a target of by 2030. So if we consider that we are going to penetrate by 30% of this value, it is also coming a very high amount. Okay, so nearly 900 to 2300 gigawatt energy storage uh, in the form of battery will be needed, and for grid storage maybe nearly 20 to 25 gigawatt. So it's a big number actually. So now coming, if we see in two-wheeler, mostly we are using from 1 kilowatt to 2.7 kilowatt battery system, and four-wheelers maybe 10 to 20 kilowatt system. So right now, if whatever the electric vehicles you are seeing in the market, like Mahindra ETOs and Tata Nexon, they are 24 kilowatt system. So generally, for mid segment, we are not going more than 25 kilowatt system. But if you compare these electric vehicle with Tesla and other high-end cars, they may have 80 to 90 kilowatt battery pack. Okay, so this is about the demand of EVs in India. And if we see the market in terms of capital, so nearly this is a data given by uh, uh, this EV societies. So here you can see like two-wheeler nearly 130,000 EVs are now on road, and it may go up to 30 lakhs. Okay, here e-rickshaws and autos, e-passenger cars, which include your uh, small cars like 1.2 cc engine based. Okay, so the battery demand is going to increase nearly 60 to 70% by 2025. Okay, so now as the demand of battery is increasing or demand of EV is increasing, the cost of battery is also coming down, because this is a volume production thing. So if we compare in 2010, the price of the batteries was nearly $1,000 per kilowatt, but continuously it is coming down. So if you see, like in 2030, the battery price was $63 per kilowatt, which is now in 2020 it is 137. Okay, so here the battery, when I'm talking about battery, so it has two components: cell component as well as BMS and thermal management, all the things. So here the darker part is cell, and other cost is your battery, the cost involved in the making the battery pack or modules. Okay, so here if we see this right now, the price of cell has come from 1,000 to $99. Okay, it's a huge change, or you can say there is continuously uh, reducing the price of the battery. And when you convert the cell into battery pack, it add nearly 20 to 30% value addition in the terms of electronic. Okay, so most of the battery pack or batteries, nearly 70 to 72% is your cell. And the market is in growing like anything, and it is projected that it may have nearly $150 billion market by 2030. And this report is given by Bloomberg New Energy Finance, so we can rely on this. Okay, so now, as I told, the cost of the cells per kilowatt is decreasing continuously, and it has reached $100 per kilowatt. uh, Same way, the demand of energy density is also increasing. Okay, so if you see from 100 watt hour per kg, now the energy has reached commercially available in the market is nearly 250, and in labs it has reached 300 watt hour per kg. And maybe in couple of years you will see the battery having more than 300 watt hour per kg energy density. Okay, so here the price is coming down, and the need of high energy density is also increasing. Okay, and South Korea, Japan, China, USA, and Germany are the major player for cell manufacturing. Right now in India, there is no cell manufacturing, only because, as I told, we are in the first phase of packing only. So this is a virgin market, and people are learning and improving. So in coming 2-3 years, we may have cell manufacturing. Hello, I am audible?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So now coming to the value chain. So major EV value chain consists of advanced material for batteries, and then ecosystem for eco-efficient production. Secondly, we should have infrastructure for fast charging. After the battery is used and leave his life in the EV, then second use of the EV battery should be there. And then after second use in solar or some smaller application, the cell has to be recycled. So this is our EV value chains consisting of 4 segments. Okay. So and now because this talk is more on the battery material, so I will try to focus on this. So now if a battery is consist of, so the raw material is a major component. Okay. Raw material includes all cathode, electrode, separator, binders, and other additives which are used to increase the performance, or you can say the energy density of the cell and the safety features. Okay. So cell component is the major. Then after that, once the cell is ready, you are going to make it module. So packing and this other stuff is needed, and then later on the modules are assembled to make a full battery pack. Okay, so this is the value chain of lithium ion battery. Now when we, how to choose the battery is a major concern. Okay, so generally what is happening when I'm talking about this energy density is equal to your user times. So everybody is carrying lithium ion battery in his pocket in the form of mobile. Okay, so you have seen that you are charging the phone in the evening and morning to evening. You will see that you are completely using the battery of the mobile. So if you have higher energy density of the battery, it will run for longer time. So you can see you can see from the last 3 4 years, the size of the mobile battery is increasing, and the uh, size of the battery is increasing. Energy density of the battery is also increasing. Okay, so energy density is nothing. It is a multiplication of voltage and the charge store in the battery. Okay, so now so based on this, when we are selecting the battery, so we have to consider few parameters like what is the energy density of the cell, and what is the power, and how much life cycle, how much life it has. So life is in the form of cycles, like every day we are charging it and using it completely. So generally 80% DOD, we used to calculate the life cycle, and then say safety features and the environmental concerns. So these are the 6 parameters, or you can say hexagon of the choosing the battery. So generally, based on these parameters, different applications have different kinds of batteries. Mostly, like in mobiles, we are using lithium cobalt oxide based battery. For EVs, right now there are 2 more chemistry, which I will tell in the next segment. Okay, so the energy may be used in portable electric vehicles or grid storage, depending on the different parameters. And battery may be so lithium ion, sodium ion, or multivalent ion based, or metal sulfur, that is lithium sulfur, which is upcoming battery. And solid state batteries are now hot of the talk. And then redox flow battery for grid storage. So generally, if you see in the market is dominated by these chemistries like lithium cobalt oxide, lithium nickel oxide, lithium nickel cobalt aluminum oxide, or lithium nickel manganese cobalt oxide, LMNO, LFP, that is your lithium iron phosphate, and lithium titanate. So generally, if we see, the market is dominated by these 2 chemistries, NMC and LFP. There is a tough competition between these 2 chemistry, and these 2 chemistries has their own advantage and disadvantage. Okay, so uh, like if you compare their cell voltage, energy density, so NMC has a upper hand. It delivering nearly 170 watt hour per kg right now, and different composition of NMC, or you can say advanced NMC in the form of 1 by 3 532, 622 compositions, they are giving more energy density and reach nearly 300. But but in market it is available only 250 watt hour per kg. Okay, then this lithium iron phosphate, which is very popular in India, is giving tough competition to NMC. Okay, the disadvantage of LFP is that it has lower energy density, nearly 130 to 150 watt hour per kg in India, and but safety wise, it is more safer than NMC, and the life cycle is more than NMC based chemistry. So you can say in coming market, upcoming markets for 3 to 4 years, these two chemistry will dominate. And right now, LFP is nearly 52% have market share, and this NMC is nearly 48. So in coming to 3 4 years, it will be reversed. Like NMC may be 52 and LFP may have 48% market share. Apart from that, very few percentage is we have LTO chemistry. LTO actually name is this lithium titanate. So the chemistry is known by this because this is one of the safest and the fast charging and very long life for more than 15,000 to 20,000 life cycle. So this is the anode material which you can couple with NMC or LFP. Okay, so uh, right now in India or globally, these two chemistry are competing. Asian markets are flooded by LFP, and European market you can say flooded with NMC batteries. And very few segments are using NCA based chemistries. Okay, so now in India, if we see, the major demand is only in three segments, like in solar. In solar solar PV, we are using in household, telecom, or grid roof. So there, mostly we are using nearly 10 kilowatt battery system. Okay, and in telecom or off-grid storage, the battery size may be more than 10 kilowatt. Okay, and you are seeing two-wheeler, which is upcoming, like in Bangalore or metro cities like Delhi and Mumbai. You will see lot of two-wheelers running on the road. So mostly they are using up to 2 kilowatt battery system. And in three-wheeler, because three-wheeler is more popular in North India, like Delhi and Delhi, Lucknow, that side. So there you will see that three-wheelers having nearly 5 to 8 kilowatt battery system. And in EVs, basically the mid segment is available in India, which is like Tata Nexon or Mahindra ETOs. They are using nearly 24, but now some SUV type EVs has come, like MG Hectors and all. They are going to use up to 39 kilowatt battery system. Hyundai Kona is using 39 kilowatt battery system. Okay, so this is the current requirement, and in of course a portable, which is a big segment in the consumer electronics in the form of mobile laptops or power tools, where you are using single cell or double cell or some very small battery pack. Okay, so based on this, in couple of years, as the demand of battery is increasing, the demand of increasing the energy density is also increasing. So if you see, these chemistry LFP and NMC are increasing their demand as well as their energy. So if you see in 2017, lithium iron phosphate battery was delivering 155, and NMC was having nearly 200 watt hour per kg. So continuously it is increasing, and right now this NMC or NCA based chemistry has reached more than 260, and it is in somewhere in between 260 to 300. And few companies like CATL and Tesla has claimed that they have developed more than 300 watt hour per kg battery, but right now it is not available in the market, but in couple of years it will be available. Similarly, this LFP is also improving. So the modified LFP is now going to deliver more than 200 watt hour per kg. So if you compare the prices of LFP and NMC or NCA based chemistry, there is a huge difference. Okay. So, but safety wise for Indian conditions, LFP is more prominent because it don't get blasted. It always, if some short circuiting or something happen, it gives only fumes or with some smoke. But NMC based battery chemistry has safety concern, especially in India, because if you move from north to west and north to south or east to west, there is a huge temperature variation. So NMC is good for European countries where the temperature is low. And if uh, if you see in India, the temperature average temperature is nearly 38 to 40 degree, and battery perform very well when the temperature is 27 degree. So when you are using NMC based chemistry in India, there is a requirement of putting thermal management in the form of circular coolant or some phase changing material or something. So that will add more extra cost as well as extra weight of the battery. So that is the disadvantages of NMC, and LFP. It is one of the robust and cheap chemistry, but the disadvantages is it has little less energy density. But now it is improving, and maybe in 2025 we may have commercially available lithium sulfur or lithium air batteries and solid state batteries, which may have nearly 400 to 500 watt hour per kg. Okay, because 500 watt hour per kg is a little higher side, but surely 400 it will come. Okay, now if we see the component, so and break down in the form of cost, so you can see the major cost is coming from the cathode material, and second is your anode material. Cathode material gives nearly 25% cost of the battery, while anode is 8, separator 3, electrolyte 1, current collectors in the form of copper and aluminum is nearly 3%, and then other cost we include. So here you can see if we have to see the cell, or you can say the battery, most of the thing is your cathode or anode. So if you are developing high performance cathode material and anode material, you can lower down the cost of the battery. So now when we are seeing the battery, so mostly uh, while designing the battery or battery materials, we have to focus on three parameters like performance, operating condition, and the cost. Because in India, the price, because most of the people are price sensitive. So you can say Indian market is price sensitive. So if it is lower in cost, there will be more demand, which is happening right now for India, like in lithium iron phosphate based battery or NMC based. So NMC based battery is little bit higher side. So second is your operating condition, whether my battery is going to shoot in the Indian conditions or climatic conditions. So like if you are using battery in EV, you need a battery which can sustain more than 45 degrees Celsius. Okay, and it can, if you are at higher altitude like Jammu and Kashmir or Siachen, so their temperature is very low. So the battery should start in that cold, low temperature. So the operating temperature is another. Second, and the most important thing is your energy density, power density, and the calendar life, how much it is going. So right now, as I told, LFP, NMC are the major player apart from this LCO and lithium manganese oxide based chemistry. Okay, so here this is the diagram of battery where you can see cathode is your positive terminal, anode is your negative terminal, and there in between there is a porous membrane which is insulating in nature, or you can say dielectric membrane, and then there is a liquid electrolyte which provide the medium for moving the ions. So once you are charging the battery, the lithium ion from cathode move to anode side, and when you discharge that lithium come back from anode to cathode side. Okay, so this I'm not going in detail because yesterday you may have seen the full presentation on basics of lithium ion battery. Now coming as I told here this cathode anode here again here we have taken the example of NMC chemistry. So in NMC based cell, the active material is your lithium cobalt oxide. So lithium cobalt oxide where the aluminum is dropped. So you can see NCA has nearly 30% active material. Anode is nearly 22 in the form of graphite. Then current collector, which is constituting copper, and positive side current collector is aluminum, which constitute 8%. Then separator, which is plastic semi-permeable, is 3%, and then electrolyte is nearly 15%. So like that, this is somewhat the composition. Now the most important pupil, because when we used to talk about lithium ion battery, in India, basically, people used to tell that in India we don't have lithium, so why we should opt lithium-ion battery things. So now here you can see NCA-based chemistry. Here lithium percentage is only 7%. If you go to LFP and NCM, it is varying from 3 to 6%. Okay, so the percentage of lithium is very less. It is not lithium dominated. Mostly, people has little confusion or misconception that it is we don't have lithium, so we should not go for lithium. So now, if you see a lot of lithium batteries are getting imported, if we have proper recycling or recycling policies, that lithium can be reused and can be make available for producing more lithium-ion batteries in India in coming times. So now this, as I told, this cathode is the most important part of our chemistry. So when we are talking about cathode, that is positive terminal. So what are the properties this cathode should have? Which what are the materials which can be used as a cathode material? So for making a cathode material, the material uh, should be should have lithium, and that can be intercalated. Secondly, it should have low Fermi energy level, or you can say it should have high voltage, and capable to accommodate large quantities of lithium per formula unit to deliver high capacity. Once you are charging and discharging, so the shuttling of lithium ion is taking place. So during shuttling or movement of lithium, the structure should not disturb. So structures, or you can say the crystal structure should remain stable, and it should have adequate electronic conductivity. We don't need high conductivity, but it should have some moderate, and chemically it should be stable, non-toxic, and it should be low cost. So based on this, like lithium metal oxides, like lithium iron phosphate, lithium cobalt, manganese oxide, all are work as a cathode, which deliver nearly 4.1, 4.2, or 4.3 volt voltage. Similarly, for anode, it is just it should have capability to accommodate lithium, which is coming from cathode, and it should have low voltage. So like if I take the example of lithium cobalt oxide based lithium ion battery where anode is mostly carbon. Okay, so that this the lower voltage makes you the right choice for using it as a anode material. So graphite, carbon based materials, and lithium titanate, as I told earlier, and silicon, germanium are the choice for being used as a anode material. So when you are making this battery, it may be in different form factor like cylindrical, prismatic, pouch. So you can see different form factors. So based on the voltage, here mostly commercially available batteries, or you can say most prominent cathode material, anode material are shown here. So here you can see most of the cathode material have more than 2 voltage. Okay, so and reaching up to 5 volt. And anode here you can see it is less. It is nearly 1.5 volt. So when if you take graphite, it has nearly zero point 0.1 millivolt voltage. Then other form of carbon, hard carbon, soft carbon, and mesoporous carbon. So that are used as a anode material. Okay. Then right in present times, silicon is very popular to increase the energy density because if you see the capacity per kg, it is delivering nearly 4000 mAh, or you can say this nearly 4200, but for simple talking, we have put it to 4000. Okay. So this silicon based batteries are now increasing to increase the energy densities. So now, so cathode anode. So and another thing is the separator. So when we are talking about separator, we have to see the thickness, permeability, porosity, and the puncture strength, pore size, and thermal stability. So here you can see the scanning electron microscope images of Celgard separator of 2400. So this separator is an insulating polymer like polypropylene or polyethylene, or it is a combination of polyethylene or polypropylene. So here you can see bilayer and trilayer structures of separator. And now to safeguard the battery, or you can say, because you may be aware that in 2016 Samsung Note 7 got blasted because of this separator issue. So now people are coating ceramic coating on the separator to increase the thermal stability so that it can operate at higher temperature also, and it can be charged fast. So now, these cathode or anode materials, when we are talking about cathode materials, so here you can see there are a lot of methods for making cathode materials like hydrothermal process, solvothermal, sol gel, solid state reaction, co-precipitation method, emulsion, spray pyrolysis, and combustion. Among these all method, mostly at industrial level, this hydrothermal, spray pyrolysis, and combustion and co-precipitation method are very popular because these are cost effective and having more more energy saving protocols. Okay, so here I have shown in the pictorial diagram that co-precipitation method where for making NMC. So you need nickel source, manganese source, and cobalt source. All these three salts of nickel, manganese, and cobalt need to be precipitated uh, with NaOH or ammonia solution. Once the precipitate has come, it has to be filtered and dry. After drying, it has to be grinded, and then we need to fuse lithium hydroxide or lithium carbonate. So generally, for NMC synthesis, that is the lithium nickel manganese cobalt oxide, the lithium hydroxide is the right choice. But for lithium iron phosphate, lithium carbonate is the good choice for making cathode actives. So once you grind the precursor with the lithium salt, then after calcination at a higher temperature of nearly 700 to 800 degree, you get the your cathode material, and then this cathode material will go for testing. There are two parts. Like first is phase analysis, and then morphology, because this phase and morphology play a big role in the performance of the cell. And once the phase is formed, then you go for electrochemical property test. So usually before making the cell, we used to do coin cell study, that is half cell study, to know the what is the half cell capacity, so that it can be it can be balanced with the cathode, with the another electrode, that is cathode or anode, whatever the thing. Okay, so these how we are going to make the coin cells, and how we are going to make the cell, fabricate the full cell, that I will deliver in the next talk. Uh, so here I have given some example of NMC synthesis, where with the simple co-precipitation method, where the all the salt are put it through continuous reactor, and then we have fluctuated this concentration in a different ratio, and surfactant are added. So you can see that these same material can be tailored into different shapes. So once you are tailoring the material, that is your cathode, uh, morphology is changing, the size of the particle is changing, the performance of the material is also improving. So earlier people are using this polycrystalline material. Now you can see single crystalline things also, and this single crystalline things having better performance. So here the same NMC, which is calcined at different temperature of like 500 degree. So here you can see the shape, and when you are calcined at 800 degree, the shape is different, and the both these same material giving different performance. Okay, so here you can see the material which was synthesized at higher temperature is more crystalline, delivering 90.7% efficiency, and while at lower it is delivering only 82.8% efficiency. And when you are synthesizing the material, the temperature conditions, your particle size, your morphology play a big role. Okay, so similarly, we have the try to modify the existing lithium cobalt oxide. Uh, right now, this lithium cobalt oxide is mostly used in portable electronics like mobiles, laptops, and solar portable solar lanterns. Okay, so there the problem with this lithium cobalt oxide, that is it has low life cycle. More you have not seen that your mobile battery which is using lithium cobalt oxide is not running more than 2 years. So generally lithium cobalt oxide battery has nearly 300 to 500 life cycle. Okay, so what we have done in this, we tried to we have incorporated magnesium and copper. So we made dual doped metals in lithium cobalt oxide, and make it lithium copper magnesium doped lithium cobalt oxide. So here we this is patented material of SICRE, which is for portable application, especially for solar. So here you can see like the co-doping of cobalt and magnesium, sorry, copper and magnesium in lithium cobalt oxide by microwave assisted method has deliver high performance. So these are the phases of like different percentage of copper and magnesium we did, and tune the phases. and make the structure more stable. So when you are incorporating magnesium, so this magnesium is working as a filtering agent and giving more stable structure. And copper, when you are incorporated, it is acting as a conducting agent and improving its charge transport properties. So here you can see the different percentage of copper and magnesium has delivered different capacities. So here you can see this optimization of copper and magnesium having like magnesium 0.03 mole and copper nearly 0.17 has delivered 230 mAh per gram at 2C rate and delivering 95.2% capacity retention. Okay, so similar way, now Popil are also doing copper, magnesium, and vanadium doping in NMC, LFP, and the other cathode material to improve the performance. Okay, so similar way we have done, and we also incorporated magnesium in lithium iron phosphate and achieved nearly 180 watt hour per kg energy density in LFP, which is delivering only 150. Okay, so now coming to anode part, mostly anode is used graphite. It may be natural or synthetic. Okay, and another is non carbon based anode material. And this non carbon based anode material mostly it has three types, like insertion type, where titanium oxide or lithium titanates are very popular, and then alloy or de-alloy material like silicon, germanium, tin base, and then conversion materials are mostly transition metal oxide like manganese oxide, nickel, iron, copper, molybdenum based, and some metal sulfide and metal phosphides, nitrites are also there. But all these three, among these three, only non-carbon based titanium is used commercially, and now in alloy type only silicon is getting commercialized. So all the high energy batteries which are coming, they are using like 5 to 10% silicon. So if you incorporate silicon in the graphite like 5 to 10%, it is giving more energy. And using pure silicon as an anode is a very tough challenge, because once you are making the cell, it need to be balanced, like cathode or anode has to be balanced by weight and by capacity. Okay, so the energy that this capacity of silicon is very high. So coating of anode with respect to cathode is becoming very tough. So that's why 5 to 10 or 20% silicon are mostly people have achieved commercially, and in the lab level it is going to increase like 50 to 60%. So now here I will just more focus on this lithium titanate and silicon types of materials, because these are commercialized, and right now we are also working on these two materials in our lab and trying to develop a high performance cell. So generally lithium titanate is considered as the most safest material, because it gives flat plateau. When even this material can be charged up to 20 C rate. Okay, so if and this LTO is the material recommended for public transportation like buses. The disadvantage is that when you incorporate lithium titanate with the NMC or LFP, your energy density goes down, because this material has nearly 1.5 volt potential. So the cell voltage comes nearly to 2.2, 2.3 volt. So the energy density in this you get only 85 to 90 watt hour per kg. Okay, but it has the advantage, one of the safest thing, and you can do fast charging up to 20C, and whenever you are seeing that battery is getting charged in 10 minutes or 15 minutes, they are using LTO. Okay, so so what we have done in our laboratory, we have modified this lithium titanate with the graphene. So we synthesize graphene oxide first, and then with the polymer, elastic polymer, we incorporate along with the PPDA, that polypropylene diamine based polymer, this LTO, and did some reactions, and you can see here the graphene, this LTO particles are fully uh, sit down on the graphene sheet. So you can see that 4% or 5% graphene itself is sufficient for making a good composite material with LTO. And this generally LTO has 175. So once you are adding graphene up to 4%, we are going to get nearly 180 mAh per gram capacity. And you can see from the impedance, because graphene being conducting in nature, it has reduced the impedance of the cell. Okay, so similar way what we have done, because here we have taken the sphere, means like uneven shapes. So what we try to do, we try to modify the shapes of graphene and LTO. So different reaction parameters are changed, and by hydrothermal method, using DMF and acetyl nitrile as a solvent, we are we get flower shaped graphene LTO. So you can see this flower shaped LTO is seated on the graphene, and it is matching with the full phase of LTO. And second, this some more changes we did, and here you can see crystals of LTO growth grow on the graphene sheet. So here you can see this is fully graphene sheet, and it's decorated all over the graphene. Okay, so here and these materials has shown better performance. Okay, so here we have not seen, because this data is under patent process, and we have made some battery which we have used in uh, for making the battery charger. Okay, so power bank we have made under the Tepson project, so we given the name it Tepson battery. Okay, so here we have incorporated this copper magnesium doped LCO for this, and we have done some changes of LTO also, and graphene battery. And secondly, most of the time we are seeing that this LFP is the more in demand. So what we have done to reduce the production cost, we have used aqueous chemistry. So here, that is again in patent process. This aqueous chemistry, we have removed the NMP solvent. Okay, so in the next lecture where we are making the cell fabrication, I will tell what is the role of NMP and other things. Okay, so we process the modified LFP with the water, and so here we have not used NMP solvent. So if you see, the cost of the cell has come down 12%, because if you compare NMP and methyl pyrrolidine solvent, and compare with the water, so water is freely available, and NMP is nearly 1 point nearly 1200 rupees per liter. So that cost has been reduced, and once you process the aqueous things, you no need uh, 1% RH conditions. Okay, so that dry room conditions, so you can make a low cost dry room for making this aqueous chemistry. Okay, so we made some cells, full cell using aqueous chemistry, and made solar street light and run the, and they are giving good performance. Okay. So now coming what as I told, for getting high performance, people are shifting from graphite to silicon. So they are using silicon in 5 to 10%. So and right now, like graphene silicon cell is more popular. So in India, like NBG, one company is making graphene silicon cell in India. So they are under R&D. Similarly, we are also making here. So the target is that if you are incorporating 20% silicon, the energy density may come nearly 200 watt hour per kg with NMC. Okay, so here you can see that movement. Right now we are using graphite or in the form of that artificial graphite or natural, it is coming nearly 200 watt hour per kg. But once you add the 10 to 15% or maximum you can go up to 20%. Okay, so the energy density goes to increase nearly 300 watt hour per kg. Okay, so that is the target, futuristic target, global target, you can say. So now, secondly, the more changes are happening in cathode side, that people are moving from cobalt rich chemistry to nickel rich. So you can say nickel rich chemistry or low cobalt chemistry, because cobalt mostly is mined in Congo or South African countries where China, all the mines are China dominated. Okay, so there is a demand of low cobalt or nickel rich chemistries. So this coming under this nickel rich, or you can say the NCA or NCM, that is lithium nickel cobalt aluminum oxide, or this lithium nickel cobalt manganese oxide. So these two are the major technologies right now. If you see the radar chart, so here you can see these two chemistry, like if we take 80% nickel composition, so they have their own advantage and disadvantage in terms of so so this blue one is your uh, blue one is your NCA, and the red one is your NCM. Okay, so so there is no much means there is a tough competition. But when this NCM is incorporated with silicon, like you can make NCM where the nickel is 33%, cobalt is 33%, and manganese is 33. And so increasing, reducing the cobalt component and increasing the nickel, like 532, 5, 622, 811, different composition are coming, the energy density is increasing. Once you are increasing the nickel content, the thermal safety concern are increasing. So because nickel plus 2 get converted into plus 4, so this gives a lot of heat. So that's why nickel 811 chemistry is not stable and it's getting blasted. So now 532 and 622 along with silicons are delivering nearly 300 watt hour per kg, and for getting 500-kilometer range, so this NMC with silicon graphene is the right choice, and most of the industries are working on this chemistry, and to achieve 300 plus energy density. Okay, now coming for India, like because as I told, in India there is no manufacturing, and government has projected uh, that by 2030 we should have 30% mm, market on EVs, and by 2025 the full ecosystem should be ready. So right now we are lacking the infrastructure for electric vehicle, like charging station, battery replacement, and raw materials. Okay, so same way, there is no company who is making the materials, low cost materials, you can say, is in demand, which deliver high performance. Okay. So like in India right now, there is no company who is making LFP and NMC materials. So this is this need to be addressed, the material development, then cell manufacturing, then better integration of the cells into modules or packs. Right now, whatever the cells we are getting from China is B grade cells, which is cheaper in cost and low in performance. So that part, mostly whatever the cell assembler company in India, they all are using B grade cells. So that system has to be changed, and high performance cells and better packing is needed. And the second, if you see, for sustaining battery technology in India, for near future, we should focus on LFP based chemistries like LFP with LT or LFP with graphene. Okay. And NMC, we should focus on 622, not 811, because the 811 is little unstable and it need very robust or high performance thermal management system. So in the near future, we should focus on the LFP and NMC. Second, in coming down 5 years, like we should shift from lithium dominant chemistry to sodium dominant chemistries, like sodium ion batteries, which having sodium vanadium phosphate or sodium iron phosphate. And then we should also look for lithium sulfur redox flow and aqueous metal air batteries. And after this 5 years, we should see sodium sulfur batteries or air batteries. But right now, the demand or the need of the hour is we should focus on LFP and NMC based chemistry to fulfill the Atmanirbhar project of government. Okay. So when you are making this things, there are so many technological challenges in India. As I told, we don't have inadequate charging infrastructure, so the people are confused whether we should opt for EVs or not. But slowly, I think this charging infrastructure things will be sorted out, and all the imported materials like cathode, anode, electrolyte separator, or even BMS, the battery management system, will be manufactured in India. So the reliance on import will be cut down. And the major concern between the industry and the academia, there is no much collaboration between academia and industry. So if the more collaboration between industry and academia is happening, then we may have high performance material. And you know that second part and the most important, the government should come up with some more uh, incentive oriented scheme, like recently they have announced PLI scheme. Okay. And once there is a good collaboration between academy and industry, the limited range anxiety will be out, because we can increase the energy density with the safety concern, and it will have more innovative technologies which can be charged very fast. And life cycle, of course, for India we need life cycles more than 3000. Okay. And secondly, because as I told, this NMP and NM, sorry, this whatever the chemistry, NMC or LFP, we are processing using NMP solvent, which is toxic and carcinogenic, and it is a environmental hazard or solvent. So once you are making NMC based things or LFP based chemistry with using non-aqueous solvent like NMP, it goes into the environment, or you need NMP recovery plant, which add extra cost. So to swift from NMP to aqueous based solvent is the need, then we can say that manufacturing of lithium cell is environmental friendly. Okay. So with this, I just stop my talk and I am open for discussion. Thank you. Hello. Hello. I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think a host, I think has just we can wait, sir.
Okay, no issue. I am here only.
Pawan, sir. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
खाली नोटिफिकेशन मारे लगे
Meanwhile, hello.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, any
Hello.
participant you can.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello, this is Pawan. Am I audible to you?
Yeah, yeah. You are audible, sir.
Yeah, sir.
Oh, so
Yes,
I'm
sir,
sorry,
audible.
there was a glitch. My Bluetooth had turned on mistakenly. So thank you, Dr. Kuldeep ji, for your wonderful talk. You have covered the current forecast of Indian market in battery manufacturing sector and the role that CSIR SICRI is playing in building the infrastructure in India. It was a very wonderful talk. I think participants will be benefited from this talk. So we will start the question and answer session.
Okay, sir.
Anybody has any question, then they can unmute and ask. Or you can also type your question in chat box.
So no question.
Yes, you can ask.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, myself Mahadev Katti, sir.
Yeah.
I am a lecturer in Department of Mechanical Engineering, Government Polytechnic, Rabkavi,
Okay.
Karnataka. Sir, I have one general questions regarding this EV vehicles. Generally, we are talking about the when we will use EV vehicles, we will reduce the pollution,
Hmm.
or you can somewhat we are also speaking about zero pollution.
Yes.
But actually, sir, while generating electricity itself, we are using a diesel plant and some nuclear plants.
Yes.
Here you can we will use the fuels to generate the electricity. In that case, also some pollution is some means it has pollution also, sir.
Hmm.
In that case, we have alternative regarding solar energy and somewhat hydel energy. But how will whether this word zero pollution it meant or not, I don't know, sir. How we can use then green energy.
Actually, as in my presentation, I already shown this greenhouse gas emission. So here you can see the gasoline, hybrid, there is a comparison of how much greenhouse gases are emitted. So when you have full electric vehicle, nearly 100 grams CO2 is produced per kilometer. Okay, while when you are running, it is releasing nearly 300 gram CO2. Okay, so now
Okay, sir.
what you have asked, it is clear on that it is whatever the pollution is happening, it is not happening on the. So if you take the example of Delhi, in the month of December and November, 3 months, you may have seen that is happening because climatic condition is that some foggy kind of things is there. So whatever the pollutants are from the
Sir, Madhavji, there is some disturbance from your side.
some
Yeah,
Mute
okay.
yourself by the time Kuldeep sir is answering you.
Uh, so thank you. Now it is okay. So you can see in the month of December and November, there's lot of pollution on the roads due to environmental conditions, like due to foggy environment. That this all the greenhouse gases or the particulates in air get trapped. Okay, so now if we are using the this electric vehicle, at least road will be clean. There will be no pollution on the road. So whatever the pollution is happening, it may be happen at the mining side or where the electricity is generated at the in the nuclear power plant or hydrothermal plant or whatever the thing. But compared to this. The pollution is very very less, and you will have clean cities. That is the main idea. At least you are reducing, you are not making it zero, but you are reducing. Secondly, as you told that solar and all these things, other technologies, renewable energies like solar energy, wind energy, and other things has to be coupled. And even if you see in India, like we are talking about EV adoption of EV by 2030, it is also very tough challenge for government because our grid is not that much stable. The transmission line. So once one side we are increasing the EV vehicles, the for charging you need electricity. So that electricity should come either from wind energy or solar energy. Okay, and our grid system should be supportive. Okay, so this is like a very you can say uh, tough phase in coming time, how to mitigate all these challenges. But overall, if you see the electric vehicle, the running cost is cheaper, and we are not dependent on the Arabian countries for oil import. Second, our city will be clean. So even if you are in Bangalore, you may have seen now the pollution is increasing because lot of traffic is there. So if you go on two-wheeler without helmet, you can see on your face within half an hour driving that a lot of black particles are deposited on your face. Okay. So at least when EVs are there, the roads will be clean, the environment will be clean. So that is my answer for your question. Yeah.
I think
Thank you, sir.
you're satisfied, Madhavji. Okay. So the next question, sir, is from VB Kottenavar. He's asking, is it possible to replace battery like LPG cylinders? I
Bat
think it is.
Battery with LPG cylinders, like you are talking for cooking or you are talking for
No, I
CNG.
think he is asking whether we can replace the batteries like LPG gas cylinders. I think battery can be replaced, I think.
Yeah, battery can be replaced, but it's all depend where you are using and how you are. So there are so many things like form factor is another concern, and the climatic condition where you are replacing. Okay, so but it can be possible, but because LPG Cylinder is mostly is for
Cooking,
cooking
domestic purpose.
domestic purpose. So in
Yeah.
domestic purpose, if you have DC storage, you can use it all the appliances whatever is available in the home, like inductions and others things. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
So the next question is, sir.
Sir,
Yes.
Mm.
Kuldeep sir,
yes, sir.
it's also reduces sound pollution.
Sorry.
Yes.
It
Yes.
also reduces sound pollution.
Yes, there is no sound when even when the electric vehicle is going on nearby you, you will not know that some vehicle has passed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is that is the
Even
Main
there is
effect.
a reduction in vibration also, I think.
Yes,
no,
sir. Yes,
it,
sir.
Vibration in the electric vehicle.
station is not there in the vehicle itself because when you are doing it's also depend on the road conditions also, like if your road is more uneven or is not properly smooth, then there may be some vibration, but it will not because of your
Right.
drive or battery.
Yes.
It's because of high speed or road conditions only. So yeah, so that is a big advantage of electric vehicles.
So the next question is, what about e-waste as compared with greenhouse gas emissions?
E-waste, yes. So actually, like once your battery is actually, if you see in once you are making the electric vehicles, okay. So generally, we assume that the life of the vehicles may be 10 years, and here, whatever the electric vehicle you are using, that uh, there may be LFP based chemistry or NMC based chemistry. Okay. So the battery life, if you have 3000 life cycles battery, so that will go around nearly 10 to 11 years. So after 10 years or 11 years, if you have a high performance battery, I'm not talking about the batteries which you are importing from China, which are B grade. I'm talking about the A grade battery. It will run nearly 7 to 8 years in the electric vehicle. So after 8 years, the performance of the battery will lower only 20%. It means 80% charging condition is still there in the battery, which can be used for stationary application where you have constant charging and discharging pattern. Okay, and then again you can use 5 to 6 years. So overall, today if I am making a battery, it is going to be used 10 to 15 years. Okay, and once it is has been used, that recycling is a process where you will get all the elements separated out. Okay, so now here, as you told, greenhouse gas emissions, so e-waste whatever you are converting into after recycling, it may be depend on your technology what method you are using. If you are using green method of recovering the lithium, cobalt or manganese and iron, I don't think there will be a more pollution. But again, it depend on the process what you are going to use. So right now most of the process what they are using uh, this combustion or high temperature method, where they are just uh, cutting the battery into small pieces, and then by fourth flotation process they are recovering the all black powder, and from there they are recovering nickel and manganese and lithium. So right now most of the in the lab level also and in commercial level, most of the companies are recovering only cobalt and manganese and nickel. But lithium recovery, as you see, that there are only 6 to 7% lithium. So that lithium recovery is under R&D process only, and maybe in couple of years you will have full lithium recovery. Okay, then you can have you can say that the greenhouse gases we are controlling fully, but it will not be 100%, but still maybe 60 to 70% reduction in the greenhouse gases. Yeah.
So the next question is, sir, from Vinod Kumar. He's asking, batteries cost is high. Why, sir?
Yes, actually, if you see that whatever the electric vehicles you are using, it has nearly 40% cost is going to battery. The reason is very simple. In India, we don't have any cell manufacturing. Most of the cell manufacturing is happening in China, which is the world leader in cell manufacturing. Okay, and uh, this production and this the cost is depend on the production, how much volume you are producing. So if you see the supply chain, that lithium is coming from countries like Bolivia, Argentina, and Chile, and then cobalt is coming from Congo and all these things. So the raw materials, the precursors for making the cathode actives and anode actives are little costlier because they are not produced in more volume. If you compare 2010, the price of the battery was $1,000 per kilowatt. Now it has come $100, and maybe by 2025 it will come 70 to 80 dollar, which you can say less than 6,000 to 7,000 rupees per kilowatt, and it will compete with the lead acid. So once you have more production, the price will come down. Okay, but if you compare with lead acid battery, the just for simple calculation, your lead acid battery, whatever you are using in your home in the form of inverter, it's nearly 5,000 rupees or 6,000 rupees per kilowatt right now at when you are using, and it gives only 500 cycles. But lithium iron phosphate based battery is giving you 3,000. So now compare 5,000 cycle and 3,000 cycle. It is like huge variation. Okay, 6 times more cycle life you are getting at the same price in coming time. So it will be not costlier in coming years. Right now, a little bit costlier, but in 2 3 years you will see the price will match with lead acid battery.
Okay. I think as we scale up our manufacturing infrastructure, the price will come down along with
Yes.
it, I think. So the next question is from Amit Atri, sir, and he's asking, government providing any training for construction of lithium battery, as this technology will have great market in future?
Yeah, right now, actually, if you see our institute, every year 2 times we conduct 15 days training, where we gives all the basic knowledge of how the cells are manufactured, how the battery is used, what are the testing protocols. And now so many Skill India programs government has proposed, because now this market is growing. So a lot of this under Skill India program, lot of things are happening, but they are very limited. So just now, yesterday, I was talking with one of our directors. So they are proposing that we should have 1 year diploma courses in battery technology, so that all the students who are getting pass out, they may have additional 1 year diploma in battery technology, so that whoever, whether from electrical sites or electronics, because now, or mechanical, because this battery is not a simple battery, it's a combinations of mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and computers, all the things. So maybe in coming years you will see lot of courses available in all the universities and IITs. Okay, but right now it is very limited. You have to start, like, if you want to have a short course like 10 to 15 days, you can approach Sikri. We used to conduct a 15 days training program, and for students the fees is very nominal, and industry also, like, it is not too much costly, 10,000 or 15,000 only. So you keep watching Sikri website, and we'll see like when we have this program. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question is from Dhruv Jaiswal. Due to unavailability in India, China having excess lithium mining, so import duty and all, in India, some fellows start aluminum ion battery. I think it's not a question. He's suggesting that some people might start using aluminum ion battery here.
Just for them, because aluminum air battery right now, actually there is a company, Israel-based company, Fin Energy. They have tie-up with IOCL for developing, and there is some startup company Bangalore-based. They are also looking. But if you see this aluminum-based chemistry is in R&D scale only, and it needs to be scale up. Okay, but you can say you may see initially it is looking cheaper, but in the long term use it is not cheaper. It is more costlier than lithium ion battery. We have done all the cost evaluations on lithium ion batteries and aluminum air batteries, and aluminum ion batteries is under R&D. It is not commercialized, and in R&D also they are not fully developed. Okay, and secondly, this aluminum air batteries is a primary battery. So once you are using, you are going to replace the electrode, aluminum electrode, with another new one. So so this is a it will be like more company oriented, like you are for every it is some companies are claiming that with single charge you can go 1,000 kilometers, but after 1,000 kilometer you are totally depend replacing the electrode which they are using as a fuel in the battery. Okay, so in the long term it is not going to be cheaper. You have to pay more price. Okay, so that is the thing.
Okay. So looking at the time constraint, we will take the last question, sir. And the last question is from Vikas Kesharwani. He is asking, sir, is it possible to use electric vehicles in hill area?
Yeah, it is possible. Actually, it's all depend on your the capacity of your EV. Okay, or is how much power battery you have put in. So basically, it is not a big thing, because if you see right now, even this supersonic jet are coming with lithium ion battery. Tesla is trying to fly the plane with batteries. Okay, and in if you go to in India itself, in the defense, there are so many electric vehicles are already deployed having batteries. Okay, we are in touch with the defense for developing all this high power batteries. So that is possible. That is not impossible.
So I think it will be more efficient in hilly range because while coming down the hill, you will actually charge your battery as you are putting brakes on electric vehicle. It charges your battery actually.
Yes,
You
yes,
are recharging your battery while
mm,
traveling down the hill. I
yes,
think that is
yes.
very good thing.
And the only thing is, like, when you are you have to see, like, when you are going to hilly areas, you have to see whether temperature conditions is normal. So here the selection of the right chemistry is the more important part. But it is possible. It is not impossible thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you, sir. I think we should end our session here because we have one more session at 11 o'clock. We will be needing some 15 minutes break there.
Okay.
Uh, so thank you, Kuldeep ji, for your wonderful lecture. We look forward to your next lecture, which will be at 1:30 in the afternoon today.
Yeah.
So it was actually going to be Dinesh Rangappa sir's session, but due to some reason, he had to shift it. And I thank Kuldeep ji for agreeing on very short notice to deliver both the lectures on the same day. and we look forward to your lecture, sir, in the afternoon.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So thank you. We will break here, and we will
Sir,
again.
can we have his email ID once again?
My email ID is kuldeep.kakran@gmail.com.
If it is in the slide, it will be better, sir.
Just 1 second, I will type.
Or else I'll just post it in the WhatsApp group. It will be
Yes.
available to everyone.
Now it is visible.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So this second number is on WhatsApp. So if anyone has some queries or something, so can drop a message. I will be happy to receive your queries.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
so we will end the meeting here, and
Yeah.
we'll see you in the afternoon again.
Sure. Thank you.
For the participants, please join at 10:55. The session will start at 11 o'clock sharp. So thank you.
I just because the second lecture is more on manufacturing, the process, how we are making. So one question came like about the training. So that second lecture is more like a kind of like how we are making the batteries and all these things. So those who are interested how we are making the cells and all these things, please join the second lecture, which is very important at present context. And looking forward all of you. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, sir. They'll join. Sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you
very much.